When I came to the district, it was classified as a failing school district. Our high schools were not performing well, our middle schools needed work, and there were a number of areas of low performance that needed to be addressed.
In 2011, Metro Nashville Public Schools commissioned the tribal group's Inspirational Schools Partnership, known as ISP, to support their local schools.
There was not a collaborative culture here, so we had to really develop a sense of efficacy, that we really could be successful, that we had to recognize that you don't do that by schools working in isolation. We have to develop a collaborative culture. So we very carefully chose tribal as a partner.
Working with 34 schools across the city, ISP provides a philosophy and framework that delivers what they describe as an inside-out approach to school improvement.
What we offered was a different approach to school improvement that believes in schools. ISP is a journey, and what it's trying to do is enable people to take a step at a time and see what those steps are. And it starts with a sophisticated online tool which enables the whole staff, stakeholders and students too, to identify where the school is, why it is where it is, and what it needs to do next.
This online tool, called Navigator, asks the user to evaluate and comment on various aspects of school life.
Teachers are asked to express their thoughts about a school's culture and specific processes and how students and teachers are engaged in leadership at the school level.
We might think everybody's bought into the different changes in the school, but I think it gives an opportunity for an individual to say if they are actually a part of what's going on with the school, and if they're not, why or why not. So that actually is a question that's very relevant.
I think, the more time that we spend on this, I think our hope is that we're being heard and we have an opportunity to be heard.
Well, the first step in treating a problem is you have to diagnose it first. So by helping and knowing what the problem really is, you can make changes that affect just the problem instead of making changes and hoping the problem gets fixed.
The navigator gives any participant in the process the ability to be a leader, and so it really gives them a voice in what's going well, what needs to be replicated, what might need to be improved.
ISP validates the navigator's findings by crunching the school's data, and a team of tribal reviewers observe lessons to identify strengths and weaknesses in the system.
All right. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. How many more do I need to get to 21? 3. Now.
How do you think it went?
For the most part, I was really impressed with their thinking and the prior knowledge they were able to bring to it to kind of keep it moving. It went smoother than I really thought that it was going to with them.
All the findings are then fed back to the school's leadership team. This process is designed to engage and motivate the whole school community to take ownership of the challenges ahead and work collaboratively to resolve them.
But what brings this alive is the comments you made about what you thought the school should do next to take its next steps in its journey.
We're having trouble with our schedule for math and reading blocks. We don't have time to transition and complete the full blocks.
It's pretty blunt on what teachers are actually saying, and teachers usually tell the truth. I think it's more of a direct approach rather than fussy.
What I like is if it doesn't work, don't keep doing it. I thought that was good, and definitely more collaboration.
I don't believe anybody came into this job to help kids do worse at school. And it's a factual reality that in the end, the staff in the school have to be the answer, because they're the people who are going to do it.
Sometimes we like to get down on ourselves about the past. They came in and through the navigator and through the external review and said, we feel like this is something you need to work on, and you might think about trying this. And so it was more of a, here's what we see as a deficit. Now here's some things to work on. And they've been coming back to help us, figure that out.
Of course, people were a little bit skeptical because they didn't know what to expect. They've been open more so now than I think would have been had I just initiated for our goals.
I think the important thing is them feeling we're in it with them and on their side. And instead of telling people what they're doing wrong, we're with them to help them understand what they need to do and show them a way to do it.
Having identified areas that need work, ISP provides presentations from inspirational leaders, as well as network events that act as a catalyst for change.
So, what do we got to focus on? We got to focus on teaching and learning. We want to build an organizational culture where everything leads up to and supports the moment of engagement between the child and the inspiring, knowledgeable, passionate, resourceful, adaptive, skilled, caring professional.
Because at the end, they each turn in 2 cards with 2 kids' names on it. And then they pull based on, and they talk about the kid. And they brainstorm, what can we do to help this kid?
So did you do specific team building things? We are still in that process. I mean, you know,
we're seeing conversations about how teams work together. We're seeing conversations about pockets of excellence in schools. We're seeing real conversations about getting rid of things and abandoning things if they're not connected to student outcomes. So I think it's the conversations and the relationships more than anything else in the schools that have been refreshing.
In Nashville, one question to ask yourself is, what am I doing to develop trust, professional trust, so that a teacher who is struggling wouldn't feel like they had to hide that, but would go to find someone else. We want teachers throughout the course of their career to be people who exemplify learning year after year after year. And that's part of the Inspirational Schools Partnership model. Network professionals together, give them access to resource, help them to connect up with their values, and have those deep, probing, meaningful conversations that get us beyond just being stapled to the spreadsheets of data.
This is about schools networking effectively with other schools, taking charge of the agenda and really making sure that it's a school-led system leadership. It's a bottom-up model and it is empowering school leaders to seize the agenda, shape the agenda and steer the future for the educational change for their young people.
Today we saw people coming together and thinking about what it really takes to change their schools from the inside out at a higher level, and I think that's going to be exciting for our entire district.